What's up, guys? This is Anthony with the RG Reviews, and today we're going to be looking at a kel-tec sub 2000. This is in 40 caliber. This is a Glock 22. It takes these standard 15 round Glock 22 magazines, polymer outer, steel inners, real reliable, sturdy, easy to find, not that expensive. It also takes KCI brand or Shearer brand 31 round magazines. They're not factory magazines. They work pretty good, at least the KCI versions do. I also bought a 31 round magazine from a surplus store, and that one, the guy there was nice enough to tell me how to fix it, and I just ended up having to twist the spring just a little bit and sand a little bit on the outside because they are wider than a factory Glock magazine. And they fit just fine now, function perfectly. I haven't had any problems with them, no jams or anything. Overall with the gun, I really only had a couple jams, I believe, when I first got it, and that was with what is it, aluminum cased or steel cased ammunition. They didn't like that too much, so I don't use those anymore. I just use regular old brass cased ammo, usually full metal jackets. Quite often I'll go to Walmart. You know, they got those $22 for 135 grain 40 caliber federal brass, and I go out there sometimes and get the hollow points and shoot those. A little higher velocity out of this gun, a little more fun to shoot personally, a little more recoil. Speaking of recoil, when you first start firing the gun, you're gonna notice that if you get any kind of cheek weld to see the sights, which are actually very low to the bore axis. So you're going to have to put your face down there. You're going to get slapped around because this is just a steel buffer tube right here. And the gun doesn't recoil a lot, but it recoils enough to where you're going to get smacked in the face. It's not that painful. It's not like you can't live with it, but it's just a little uncomfortable. So I went to Tactical Products online, and I got this recoil buffer sleeve, which is like a rubber recoil buffer sleeve. It's some particular kind of rubber that is impervious to cleaning agents and stuff, so you don't have to worry about, you know, getting some kind of gun lube or gun cleaner on this and it rotting away or deteriorating. But it makes it warmer on the cheek for when you're shooting out in the cold. It lessens the snap that you get in the face from firing the gun. It's pretty decent. It makes the gun a lot more comfortable to fire. Also got a tactical charging handle cover, I guess is what you'd call it. It's just a little, it's almost like a bushing, like you would find on a skateboard, and makes it a little more comfortable to grip the charging handle. Not like that's a problem for anyway, but it does help a little. I also have inside here, which you'll see when I break the weapon down, I have a recoil reducer, and I gotta say that it works. It will reduce your recoil. It does say on the website that it won't shred up with use, that it'll last 5,000 rounds or something, they say, but pretty much from my experience what I've found is that it will tear up inside a little bit. It still works, but it will tear up, and when you clean your gun the first few times after putting it in and firing some rounds, you'll find some debris in there from the actual recoil reducer. It hasn't caused any kind of malfunctions in my gun, so I don't think it's really going to mess you up too bad, but after the first couple times of cleaning it, I didn't find any more, so at least I don't have to think about it as much anymore. Yeah, I did a camo paint job on it with just with Krylon camo, and it actually works out pretty nice. It took us about an hour, 45 minutes to do the whole process, get it all done, and it's held up really well. It's been on here for at least a few months. I have a couple little nicks where it's touched other metal objects or bumped other metal objects, or sometimes in gravel or rough dirt. But overall, it's held up really nice. Breaks up the lines on an all-black gun if you plan on taking it out in the woods, do some plinking. You know, I know you don't need it to be covert style and camouflage, but it's fun to have it that way, and it looks better. This gun is actually very accurate. To tell you the truth, out to about 100 yards, I can hit just about anything I'm aiming at. It hits it really hard, especially anywhere from 25 to 50 yards. It hits it very hard. We shot a bowling ball with this, and we're shooting it with other caliber weapons, mostly pistols, and it wasn't really doing too much. I mean, it was taking little chips and chunks off from it, but it wasn't really making that big of a deal. I started shooting it at this, and it just annihilated it. Ripped it to pieces. It only took like 4 or 5 shots to just totally blow it to chunks. So it's pretty powerful. I know that from shooting other things as well. Nothing illegal, but just out shooting stuff, having fun. It's very light, 4 pounds. You can basically carry this anywhere you want to go. Of course, if you know anything about kel-tec sub-2000s, you already know that they fold in half, and they store. They're 7 without the magazine in. There will be 7.5 inches by 16.5 inches, I believe. 7.5 inches by 16 inches, and so you can put them in basically anything. I carry it when I'm transporting it. I just carry it in a regular book bag. I don't have a gun case for it or anything. Contrary to popular belief, you can have a magazine in it with it folded. I've seen a lot of comments on other videos out there where they say you're not supposed to have the magazine in it with it folded because it can damage the gun. It cannot damage the gun at all. I keep mine with the magazine in all the time. I've had this gun for 5 years, so I know it's not doing anything wrong to it. You can't have a round in the chamber when you fold it. It'll try and bend the round itself, which I don't know if that would cause detonation of the round if you bend it all the way, but I'm sure it probably could, and that could be an unfun situation for you if you want it that way. But the bolt handle to reciprocate the bolt, charge the gun, clear any malfunctions, which probably won't have, but it's possible, especially if you're using that steel case crap. If you want to cycle the bolt, pull it back just like on, I guess a Uzi is similar, and Mac 10 or 11 is similar. They're just on the top or the side of the gun up towards the breech. This has a little tab in here on the way that it slides right down here. I'll show you this. And with that tab, you can actually pull this bolt handle back and tilt it, and it will lock back so you can hold your bolt open. With the recoil buffer, you can't do that anymore. It's not a big deal because I don't go to any ranges where I have to keep my action open to be considered safe on the range, so it doesn't bother me at all. The sights are actually pretty decent for what they are. It's a plastic sight. It has a kind of like a light gathering plastic post in here. Sight adjustment is done on the side here with a tool, or you can just use I think pretty much any kind of hex key will work on this. The rear sight is just a peep. It's pretty much perfect for what you got to do with this kind of a gun at 100 yards. You don't need any finer aperture than that. It's pretty decent, pretty quick to lift, pretty quick to get on sight. Trigger pull's not that bad. A lot of people complain about that. I guess maybe with the thousands of rounds I put through it, maybe the trigger pull went down a little bit. I don't really remember it ever being too heavy anyway, so that's just a lot of they want a match grade trigger out of a survival type home protection gun, but that's not really intelligent to me personally. I would rather have a heavier trigger, especially something that I use as a home defense, and this is actually what stays in my room loaded up with those 135 grain hollow points for home defense. I also have a pistol, of course. If I got a sub-2000 in Glock configuration and it's in 40 cal, then the gun to go with that gun would be my Glock 22. Now this is safety checked, magazine out, check the chamber, it's all good. I checked it before, but safety police out there. So yeah, man, this is pretty much as good as you're gonna get in a pistol. I know there's a lot of other ones out there that people might think are prettier, or maybe they have a couple other features, manual safeties and stuff, which I don't need. The one complaint I did have about the Glock is the grip was a little smooth, so I fixed that up, and I'll show that in a review of the Glock itself. But this is just out here to show how I can go along with the sub-2000 and create actually a really nice team between the two, because they do take the same exact magazines. Now I take the 30 rounder out of here and drop the mag from my Glock 22. It goes right in, fits just fine. I actually have some mags that put this Glock away. I actually have some mags that I've done up specifically for this gun, for the sub-2000, if I can find them, which I can't, but there it is. And I just did the base plate of the clip of the magazine, just like I did the camo on the gun. I mean, actually, this is about as good as you're gonna get for under $400, under $500, especially with pistol caliber carbines. I mean, you can look the way of the Beretta, which is going to cost you, quite a bit more than this. The High Point carbine, which I haven't personally fired, so I'm not going to say it's good or bad. But just from looking at it, I'd rather have this. And now that I have, several thousand rounds, probably a lot more than several thousand rounds to do this after 5 years of shooting, I've spent a good deal of money doing it. So I can tell you that this is 100% rock solid. It has never done anything to me I didn't want it to do. It's a real good weapon. I don't have a sling on it just yet because I haven't actually taken it out, let's say out in the woods and popping stuff that I probably shouldn't be popping. But I will eventually. I'll probably get a sling for it. Shouldn't be too hard to set up. This gun ran me just over $300 when I bought it, and I believe I bought it in 2005. So just over $300 is pretty good. 40 cal ammunition is not that expensive. If you go to Walmart, it's like 13 bucks a box, which is still more expensive than a 9mm or 22, but it's about as good as you're gonna get. So I fire a lot of Federal through this. Handles just fine. Gets pretty dirty pretty quick. Gotta clean it. It's not a big deal. I'll show you how you would clean it. I'm gonna disassemble this real quick. And there's a pin right here. Let me show you. And this pin has two sides. One side is got almost like a washer. It's blocked so it can't go through. And what I'm going to do is take this pin right here. You don't actually need a round. People tell you that you need a tip of a bullet or a punch or something to get this out, and that's not true at all. You just push it. This end right here will come out. You're going to pull it until it stops. Yeah. Just pull it till it stops. And there you go. It's going to come back. Take this out. That's your recoil spring. And you're going to grab the handle, lift it all the way up to the top here, stop your bolt in the groove right here. And you're going to take out your bolt handle, charging handle. Get this back up in here, pull it down, take out your bolt assembly, which is two pieces. They fit together. It's like a puzzle right there. No problem. So you take that out, clean up your bolt real good. Use whatever cleaning stuff you want to use. Fold the rifle, and now I can get at the bore from the chamber instead of from the muzzle, which is an issue that you have with some carbines, not all, but with some of them. So yeah, get it all cleaned up. Do what you gotta do, oil it up, and put it back together, which is just as quick as taking it apart. So I dropped it right there. Get under here to this hole for the charging handle, place it in, move it forward, take your recoil spring, place that in there, bolt handle all the way to the front, and push this cap, pop the pin back through, ready to go. Magazine in the chamber, it's empty by the way, still empty, it's all good. Okay, this does not have a bolt hold open feature on your last shot, so it's not going to stop. You're going to hear the click just like you do with an AK, and obviously that hasn't hurt them, so no big deal. Also, something about this gun is if you really want to get your best results, especially as far as accuracy and power, what you're going to want to do is use a low grain, high impulse ammunition, and like I said, those Federals work just fine. Overall, I think this is a great weapon. It'd make a great pair with that Glock 22, and if I ever need it, I know it'll come through for me. So just thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed seeing this nice gun in action, sort of.